Yes, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Michelle Nichols from Reuters.
Thank you.
We have the declaration on the two-state solution and an end to the Gaza war that was endorsed by the General Assembly. There is also now the 21-point Trump plan for the Middle East. Is there common ground between the two? Do you see a way where you could, the two could be merged together and you can all work together on this?
I think the US proposals focus on finding an end to the war in Gaza, which obviously needs to be our immediate priority. And we are very engaged with the US, and we are very grateful that the US is focused on ending the war in Gaza and finding an end to the suffering there. Obviously, that is a prerequisite to moving forward on the issue of Palestinian statehood. So I do think the two issues are complementary. We were very conscious in building the New York Declaration, in building a very clear process and very clear and practical mechanisms to translate into a future Palestinian state in a way that ensures both the rights of the Palestinians, but also for the Israelis, the security that is also their right.
And is there anything in the 21-point plan that you disagree with?
Thank you, sir. طلال الحاج from العربية عند الحدث networks. I'll ask in English. When the foreign ministers and the leaders of the Muslims and Arab countries who met with President Trump on Tuesday, when you left, do you feel assured that the West Bank will not be annexed by Israel? Did you get any assurances to that effect? And to the rest of the distinguished ministers, is there a time frame from your understanding for the New York Declaration that the diplomatic efforts will start negotiations? What is the time frame to implement the two-state solution, or is it an open-ended thing?
So what I can say about the meeting with President Trump, which I think was a very important meeting, is that the Arab and Muslim countries made very clear to the President the danger of annexation of any type in the West Bank and the risk that poses not just to the potential of peace in Gaza, but also to any sustainable peace at all. And I feel confident that President Trump understood the position of the Arab and Muslim countries, and I think the President in the US understands very well the risks and dangers of annexation in the West Bank. I don't know if
the Israeli ambassador here the other day said that two-state solution is off the table. I asked twice. He said it's off the table. So is the process, the diplomatic process between Saudi Arabia and Israel still on the table, and what is the interlink between these?
Well, the interlink is clear. The Crown Prince, in his speech to the Shura Council now 2 years ago almost, made it very clear that there cannot be a process of normalization between the kingdom and Israel without a Palestinian state. But I would allow maybe my colleagues, if they want to add a comment, because it's not just about the relationship between Saudi Arabia and Israel that is at stake. It is also a belief in peace and coexistence, and I think the countries that have recognized Palestine maybe want to make a quick comment on that.
Yes, I would like to. Norwegian Foreign Minister Espen Barth Eide. We were together with Spain, Ireland, and Slovenia. We recognized yesterday, and as you know, over the last days, we've had a wave of new recognition from Western countries, taking the number of countries that have recognized Palestine to, I believe, 159, which is the latest number. But we also underline that when countries like Spain and Norway decided to shift from our traditional position of recognizing at the end of a process to a position of recognizing as a contribution to a process. This was very much because we understood that waiting to the end of a process that did not happen was in fact giving a veto to that party that wanted least progress, and that was for the last many years the government of Israel. So we wanted to say that we need to put on the table now that there shall be a two-state solution, that Israel cannot have an eternal veto against what's happening with the people and on the territory that they illegally occupy. They have interests that we will respect, but so have the Palestinians, which is why we take this new mandate forward. And working closely with this group of Arab foreign ministers over almost 2 years now, we realized that there was a possibility to bridge this Western move to recognition and also to strengthening our support for the Palestinian state institutions with the long-term promise of a normalization between key Arab states and Israel. And these are pieces of a broader puzzle that only together will take us to the long-term prospect of a two-state solution. And to a previous question, if I may add, there are immediate tasks and long-term tasks, and we need to focus on both. In Gaza, we have to stop the war, get humanitarian aid in, and move into some kind of immediate post-war administrative structure, which is being discussed. In the West Bank, which we must not forget, the immediate task is to save the Palestinian government, the Palestinian institutions. They are at the brink of, almost at the brink of collapse because they're financially strained and their capacity very much limited by the expansion of settlements and violent settler activity. So these are the immediate needs, and the latter issue will be discussed in a few minutes in the ad hoc liaison committee on in support of a two-state solution. But then the long-term needs is how we transition from this into an outcome which means that both Israelis and Palestinians can live in peace in a two-state solution. And while we know that a two-state solution is further away on the ground because of what's happening, it's politically closer than ever before because of this massive support it has from large parts of the international community.
To the foreign minister, since this is a long term, I'll ask about the short term as well. As you know, Gaza Sumud flotilla is headed to Gaza, and apparently Spain and Italy also, they are planning on sending navies, ships to that area of the Mediterranean. Do you have any message to those who are on these ships? Do you have any message to the people in Gaza who are expecting these humanitarian aid? Thank you.
Just answer the first one. لا أحبذ الدخول الآن في تفاصيل المحادثات فيما يتعلق بالتصور الأمريكي، لكن لا شك بالنسبة للمملكة العربية السعودية، وأظن هذا إجماع عربي، أننا نرى أن مصير غزة هو موحد مع الضفة الغربية تحت إدارة السلطة الوطنية الفلسطينية.
Thank you. I will answer your question about the flotilla, but before, Spain strongly supported the two-state solution and the recognition and establishment of a realistic and viable Palestinian state. Because of justice for the Palestinian people, I don't see why they should be the only people in the world that should be eternally condemned to be a people of refugees. Secondly, because of peace, everyone knows, including the Palestinian and the Israelis, that the real solution, the only solution that will bring peace and stability for everyone and security for everyone in the Middle East, including the people of Israel, is the two-state solution. And given the level of unacceptable endless violence in Gaza and also in the West Bank, it's mere humanity to go for the two-state solution. As my Norwegian friends and all my colleagues were saying, we have two immediate tasks. We have to stop this endless killing in Gaza that has not any objective at all. This is not an anti-terrorist action. This is a sort of global punishment against all the Palestinians in Gaza. And on the West Bank, we have to support financially our partner for peace. Hamas is not a partner for peace. The Palestinian National Authority is. And Israel is trying to make the collapse financially of the Palestinian National Authority. That's why yesterday I announced that Spain will disburse 50 million euros for the Palestinian National Authority. To your question on the flotilla, Spain has many citizens in that flotilla. We have sent one of our ships to go along with them in a rescue operation. We are having a lot of incidents with this flotilla, and in case there is need from our citizens and also the Belgian citizens, because the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Belgian government has asked us also to take care of their citizens, that vote is there to provide them assistance. I want to be very clear. The people that goes in those votes and the Spanish citizens that are in those votes are peaceful people with a humanitarian objective that are no threat to anyone. They are no threat to Israel, to the Israeli people, to the security of Israel. They are using their right under international law to navigate on free waters. And I prevent anyone that wants to harm them, that they will be held accountable for their actions. Once again, they are peaceful people with a humanitarian objective, that is to deliver humanitarian assistance to the people of Gaza. I wish there would be no flotillas. I wish the humanitarian assistance could enter the Gaza Strip from the land crossing points that are available for that. But unfortunately, the blockade of Israel prevented from doing it. So that's the reason we have sent that vote in a rescue operation in case there is an incident. And those Spanish citizens, they have all the diplomatic, consular, and political protection of the Spanish state and the Spanish government.
We have time for one more.
Yes.
So, yes, go ahead.
Your Highness, thank you very much. A question for you. In light of everything that we've heard now here, and in light of the obstacles that Foreign Minister Safadi also fleshed out for us, realistically speaking, can we say that the Palestinian state is in the near future? What would it look like? And who would be the countries that would help reconstruct and revive Gaza?
I mean, is it in the near future? I certainly hope it is, because that is the only pathway for hope for all of us in the region to live in security and stability in a way that is sustainable. The building blocks are there. It is clear. You know, in the founding UN resolutions that established the State of Israel, there was also a clear understanding of the foundation of the State of Palestine. The 1967 borders are understood by international law to form the borders of the State of Palestine. Obviously, there will have to be a negotiated process between Palestine and Israel to finalize all of the outstanding issues. We do not see these issues as insurmountable. If there is serious will, and we know from the Palestinian Authority that they are ready and willing to address these issues in a reasonable and pragmatic way, we could have a Palestinian state in relatively short order, one that is also very much sustainable and viable and can live in harmony with its neighbors in Israel. On the reconstruction in Gaza, I think we have seen, just by the significant outpouring of aid just for the emergency relief of Gaza, that there is a commitment to the rebuilding of Gaza. But what I do want to make clear is that it's absolutely necessary that when we transition, hopefully soon, to a ceasefire, that this not be a temporary state of affairs. I think it is unacceptable that we come to the international community to ask them to come together to rebuild Gaza when it was destroyed by Israel, only for the potential of the situation on the ground to exist where this could all happen again. So I think it's absolutely critical, hand in hand with the immediate relief of the situation in Gaza, that reconstruction be ensured to be sustainable, that we do it once and for all. And there again comes in the need for a final agreement on the status of Palestine through the Palestinian state.
If you allow me just to follow up on your question, I believe that we as Arabs and Muslims, we have a clear-cut vision, you know, with specific steps. The first step, as the Prince, His Highness Prince Faisal mentioned, first step is, of course, ending this unjust war. This is extremely important to stop the Israeli aggression. Number two, to move ahead, of course, with issues related to security arrangement as well as the governance of Gaza. And we have, as I mentioned, a clear vision on that. For the security arrangement, we in Egypt, in cooperation with Jordan, we are providing training to Palestinians in order to be part of the Palestinian security force to be deployed in Gaza in full coordination with the Palestinian Authority. And of course, we are open to the idea of deploying an international forces in Gaza, but it should be mandated by the Security Council, and of course with one objective: to help and to support the Palestinian Authority to realize its own independent state. As for the governance, it's very clear again, we have an administrative, not political, not affiliated to factions, a specific committee to take over Gaza, to govern Gaza in full coordination with the Palestinian Authority for a specific period of time, and then to hand over to the Palestinian Authority. Meanwhile, as soon as we have a ceasefire, we must convene the international conference for the implementation of the Arab Islamic early recovery and reconstruction plan in Gaza. This is extremely important because it was endorsed by European Union, by Japan, by the international community. So all components, all ingredients are there. What's missing here, as the foreign minister of Jordan mentioned, is the lack of political will from the Israeli side. This is what's extremely important to end this aggression, this war, as soon as possible, and then to move forward with the other steps. We are coordinating with Americans, with Qataris, of course, to continue our endeavors in order to reach a deal which will secure the release of all hostages and Palestinian prisoners, and of course to leave all impediments which are hindering the flow of humanitarian aid.
Thank you.